Go.
All right. Well, here's the story of the great railroad track episode of 1968. I was a new student at Cleveland State University, and we lived out in North Homestead, and I would take the bus down to school normally. And but this one night or day, I decided to take my car because I had to uh, pick up a stuffed pheasant. I had shot a pheasant, and I had a friend of my cousins was doing it. I remember the cost, $18 for a stuffed pheasant. A pretty good deal in 1968. Anyhow, so I drove my car down to school that day, downtown. Came back to my cousins. We went and got the pheasant, and we stopped at a beer joint and had a few beers. By this time it was dark, and I headed back home. Well, that summer, or spring, whenever it was, they had been working on the road where my parents lived, Fitch Road, putting in sewers. So there was only one lane. They had big road closed signs. Well, because I was coming from the bar in a different location, I was at a different end of the road. And this part of the road had a railroad crossing. So I got up, road closed, it's always closed. Pull around, of course, when you're at night with the headlights going across the tracks perpendicular, you don't see that they've removed everything around those tracks. So I immediately, whoop, my car is stuck, both wheels just inside the tracks, and I can't move this car. So I was like, shit, so I get out and I look, and there was two sets of tracks from east-west running from Toledo to Cleveland. I could see a light coming. I said, oh boy. So there was a township garage across the way, and I walked over there, or ran over there, and told these guys my dilemma, and they just looked at me like, you idiot. Yeah, you can use the phone. So I called my dad. I said, Dad, you got to come around a different road and come back in and bring your tow chain. We got to get my car off the tracks. So he came. Of course, the light's getting a little closer, you can see forever out there. And we hooked the chain up, and we couldn't get the car to move off the tracks. Well, by this time, the train's getting closer, and we get back, and I realized, I left my pheasant in the car. So I run to get my pheasant. My dad thought I was trying to get the car off in the last minute effort, He was freaking out. I think his hair really got gray after this. Anyway, I got my pheasant, came back, and he's, and the train went by, it was on the other set of tracks. So when we looked back, and there was another train coming, then I did get in the car. I said, okay, I also pulled the bumper off of his brand new Oldsmobile. It went out, and it was like a cow catcher. Well, ultimately, when I got in and goosed the car just right, I had a little bit of wiggle room, and he got the chain, and we popped it off the tracks. And my dad went home and had several shots and beers, and, and that's the story of why my dad has gray hair. So.
Thank you, Max.